advantage on themselves and on a need for investigate?
In fact, Lamarana, thank you very much. Now, because we are aware, before all this while, make we hold on, say now only when a breach to the mandate we get in terms of criminal investigations and possible prosecution, that mandate is strictly defined by the Anti-Corruption Act, especially Part 4 and some other provisions in the miscellaneous. Now, because we are aware of that, that's the only way we have a mandate in this whole saga. And then with regards to Section 7, where they talk about recommending best practices, those are the two things we can do. Now, I make we always, in the height of all the demands, all the calls for ACC, for begin action, we're determined by voting some sector of the public, one for C, say no, we can only do what the law requires. No,
so why didn't you, do this statement at that time?
From the beginning?
Exactly.
No, you needed to process a little bit of what you have at hand.
But you came out, instead of saying, okay, we're sitting and waiting to see how things go around or how things pan. When I come out and say, no, this is not our business.
No. At no one time did anybody, now the commission say this is not our business.
No, it was very clear, say, we had doctors, directors.
Say maybe somebody, some people in far from...
It said it not meet on a threshold. It doesn't fall under a mandate.
That was at that material point to the commission
at all. But that was the same point where press release don't come up from tech, say the institution they are, not so accredited institutions.
Now, after that statement to the commissioner make.
Tech from a start. Yeah. From where Dr. Lai starts and where Dominion issue come. Tech issued a press statement before even Dominion organized the ceremony. Yeah. Afterwards, AGU came in, Tech issued a statement. Afterwards, when I take to the media and begin say it doesn't fall within the threshold of your mandate. So the point I'm asking is, why is this press release coming out? Is it after pressure on I think say on a need for build the trust of the people because people don't ask for this?
The priority of the commission are for carry the trust of the people who already built. If you see every voice, they require the ECC for take action. So I have a reason, affirmatively for things say we get the trust of the people. And we get for carry on with that trust. Not to a burden, a responsibility on we.
Okay.
Yeah? Why the press release now? From the beginning, if you go back to Commissioner's statement on Facebook with Dr. Lai to the interview, it can only trigger, even at this stage, a full-blown investigation has not been triggered. We can only trigger a full-blown investigation into this issue when it is, or we get reason for belief, that Section 1283 is in contravention.
But una don't cover Section 1283 under certain way now na the press release. Say una don't put up a task force for investigate. That is like saying, yes, we're going to investigate. We're going, and like when you say you get Scorpion Squad, we don't send Scorpion Squad for go do certain things. That is what you're saying. But you're covering it like you don't want the public to think you're going to do it.
No, nothing is being covered. Let's understand. When ACC, they say we don't begin formal investigation, and when ACC interested in something, and now only on this university saga, we don't see some sector of the public not look comfortable with when we are interested and when we are investigating. From the one, let's be clear that the allegation are nothing way they of interest to ACC. In fact, that's the reason why we have taken our precious time for the seek and do clarification on the issue here. Now, juxtapose this with the audit report. At no given time, audit report not come on at this country, and the next day ACC does now investigation. In as much as the allegations were inside every audit report, on the face of it, you go to now say now corruption. But anytime there's audit report, we they subject them to we own analysis.
But immediately at those times, I can come out with a statement and say, yes, we know the audit report is out.
Thank you.
And we want to assure the public that we are going to investigate it. Even though, say, una go process and but the point I'm making is,
yes,
una they give the public that assurance and confidence.
Thank you.
But that is what is missing in all of this. You will rather defending that it's not your threshold. Enough fall within a threshold.
No, except if somebody want for take them that way.
Okay.
Here is the commissioner saying, and he was, because if you follow the social media comments, especially when names of individuals were mentioned, it was like, begin an investigation and get these people arrested. And he was like maintaining, until today we are like maintaining. Beginning an investigation, effecting an arrest can only be triggered where we have this reason. It is almost the same for every investigation process, except like what you mentioned, Scorpion Squad raid, Usai on the height, they meet people, there you arrest, there and then. Like audit report, it come on for a whole 2 weeks, we subject them to analysis.
Yeah. But to assure the public where it come on, say the audit
don't capture with intention.
Exactly.
And on this matter too, I can remember vividly. I don't even remember how many times we don't talk about every communication, especially we don't talk on behalf of the commission. Okay,
we
have given that assurance.
Okay, let me listen to Patrick Sandy, Director Patrick Sandy. Now we wake up Sierra Leone program. Let me listen to him. You can let me hear what he been say and what you they say now.
So as it is, we have said within the Act, if you look at Part 4 of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008 as amended in 2019, you have to look at a series of acts and how it would apply to this specific circumstance. So somebody who have attained a PhD, fake as it could be, after the person has been in employment, and then that is not a prerequisite, a criteria that has been set. Insofar the ECC is concerned, there is no corruption issue and nothing to investigate because he has not used that qualification to confer an advantage on himself or herself. And let us understand this, even when it comes to the aspect of determining what to investigate, you have to look at the offense and there are certain things you have to establish. Firstly, we call them the elements of the offense. To start with, if for instance you want to say somebody has misappropriated and the offense is any person, you firstly would determine if that person is any person. There are certain offenses within the Act that speaks to a public officer only. So before you start to investigate, that offense will not be committed by a person who is not a public officer. So you have to establish that one. And then you go to the aspect, is it a public fund? Those are the kinds of things we look at the ACC before we start or commence investigations. And so we do not just start by investigating because a member of the public says, let's investigate. The burden of proof is on the ACC. We are a responsible and professional institution, and therefore we firstly would have to make a determination whether that particular action or incident amounts to a corruption offense as it is in the Act. And we cannot just jump at investigating all sorts of things. There are institutions who have that responsibility to do and let them perform.
So in this, it doesn't meet that.
No, but exactly. I see people also say we should do prevention. Where do you prevent? What do you prevent? Prevention is about going into systems and processes, and you look at those systems that there are lapses, and you bring recommendations. In this instance, for instance, Dominion, there is a particular category where they fall. It was just an act of criminality, which we said the police should handle. But what system do you have to go and correct? The TEC is operating. They have come out clearly and said, these people should not operate on this category. What is there for you to go and review? So these are the kinds of confusion we are getting from people who are writing all sorts of things. You only conduct a systems review, you bring prevention work when you have identified within a particular system or structure that there are lapses, there are loopholes, and it's as a result of those that those corruption occurrences could have occurred. Perhaps.
So that's the point.
Yeah. So
even prevention, Mr. Patrick Sandy was saying, you don't do prevention. In this press release, let's read them again. In a parallel, as a parallel approach, the ACC has set up a task force comprising investigators and prevention officers to progressively do a credential integrity review for public officers with the mandate to look into employment, promotions of persons with the broad spectrum of the civil and public service. So the point is, people were saying, people in the way go to use a document here for get employment. Una know aware until una investigate now una go know. People in the way go don't take an advantage for gain promotion. Una no go know until una investigate. But you were insisting that now the other institution for investigate, not so una for investigate.
Okay. All right. So if you follow the position where the director take, till today that position not change.
Even at the document.
Markham. If you follow the trend of things that don't happen. Initially, when the video came out, for me, I've been the eye-opener to the event. The two most prominent names and we've been surface have been the person of the Clerk of Parliament and the IG. And then we were required by some sector of the public to investigate. And at that time, we concluded at that time, based on what was available to us, that this not trigger a full-scale investigation. We go follow up on these issues and see what in are the corruption element in it. If you watch director in definition, possessing a fake degree is not corruption in the act.
Yeah, but if you use that degree,
so up till date, if you see all of those, that passage where you read now the press release, that is speaking directly, because after those initial engagements, the revelations will don't come out, and this is where we have to be sincere to learn discussion here. After the initial engagement, then more revelations don't come out. Will not be ever available in the initial period.
The press release now.
So now we have been processing. You know, I mean, I will take her emphatically. At no one point the commission not ever say we know they investigate. Waiting we consider, if you listen to director clearly, waiting we consider for be an alleged breach to any of the provisions that the act. Any day it happen, any minute, if it were there so. If this press release says something like with the prevention officers they go, then we come on get compelling evidence that shows say look, one person already don't use fake degree and that's his position. You are obliged to take action. So we operate like, I mean, fighting corruption is like in medicine, taking care of sick patient.
Okay.
Now the symptom what you see, and you the treat.
But I'll go back to Dr. Lai. He has been making it very clear that it only presents a lot of evidence to the commissioner. Even before now, he don't engage the commissioner. They even get back and forth on his Facebook page about this. Dr. Lai, I go and bring this. You don't listen from Blake.
Yeah, because I really want some other things to say against the ACC.
Yes, you can go ahead and then we go to
yes, so that we not go miss them.
Okay.
On this one, that the commissioner is elitist, and we they pursue more of low people, as maybe one for put and so. I don't use that word as against people high places.
Yeah.
I want for submit to me elder brother, Dr. Lina, me elder brother. I want for submit to and say that is contrary to fact. The available fact where they show say the one the more they consider in society. We at the commission all put that aggregation as highly placed people have been most frequently charged to court where we investigate. In fact, the people they consider low people in this country not get much opportunity for be corrupt. So, for example, now the SLMA, the people charged to court, non-pandemic, not to middle level, now top level management, 2 executive directors succeeding. Yeah, we'll go civil aviation, the people charged to court, they not to small, not to middle level, now management staff. So I want to see the data where somebody go show say anytime where big person name come up on the left hand, but with small person. And the other one on the ACC commissioner not get connection with the poor. Well, that's a social talk. I believe say Dan they not get any data for proof because he himself came out of poverty. That man has been a refugee out of this country. He went to school through people helping him. I don't know. Till today, now the only commissioner where they don't undertake me the people talk. Where you una get footages of that. Interacting with people at that level. And how the police go handle this? Well, this is it. It not mean say because with the question somebody inability for doing job, then another person for can do. Let's be careful here. The Anti-Corruption Commission no get mandate for investigate any other crime beyond corruption. And these issues what they talk about, forgery implication they did. And we get the Forgery Act 1913, where constitute the police as the institution will get mandate for investigating.
But the SEC get mandate if people you forge something for take for use them as an advantage. So the SEC pulling itself from this.
No, we have not pulled ourselves. So if we get mandate in this, I go want everybody who are interested in this rate we on we mandate and see if we go slide to mandate or we go ignore them or we go dodge them, which we are never going to do. And as I conclude on some of the issues we read, it's no counter-attack by way of argument. But let you know clearly say, if the police, they mandate the under question, there is a supervisory entity where for look at that situation, or maybe on moral or legal grounds and decide what thing they happen. If they get for form a special tribunal for look at this, SEC not get that locus for go form special tribunal, yeah? It juxtapose this with what thing happen like Tanzania, who say do that study, Probably the Anti-Corruption Commission in our country, they get that mandate. But here, we mandate limited. Even when we give instructions under Section 7, GH and going down I, now based on your observations. And on this issue of forgive grace period for people
for time, yes,
for resign,
exactly,
or face investigation, let's first and foremost allow this probe for continue. And this
but he's saying for being more consistent, you go say, okay, this time to this time.
No,
like
Dr. I know that in communications, where you know better than me, a press statement is not a report.
Okay.
Well, it's not going to be over-detailed. For example, in the mandates now where the tax force, where the commission gets, the commissioner get for given timeline.
Okay.
How many days?
But the institutions themselves are not given timeline.
Now the time now they communicate to them.
Okay.
We're not going to expect it for every bit and piece of what you want to do for them.
But that is very important information.
It's very important, but let's get that. We haven't got that. Yesterday we issued the instruction to them. The tax force has been constituted. It will have a mandate. The tax force now, we own limb for supervise what thing they happen within the institutions. Okay. So that tax force get for relate to them people. All these go come in the updates what they provide for that.
Okay.
And the thing like clear process, I disagree. In this press release, we have stated clearly what thing we want based on we mandate. And if even the institution have not been one for do this credential verification, we have instructed them to do.
But institution we don't begin even do them before now, even announce.
If they want them to begin do them, we give them thumbs up.
Yeah. So now they make una something say well, let's come out and tell them what do them.
No. I tell you, the SEC will get over 90% conviction rate in all investigation. What they do now a thorough institution. If not to that, like where he's saying he was this commissioner and the worst commissioner.
One of, you don't clarify, say one of.
Yeah, a social anthropologist, that's subject to him. But if this is the same commissioner that in 2020, the US recognized as one of the top 10 best anti-corruption crusaders in the world, this is not Africa. And this same Sierra Leone, where we have one of the worst commissioners, don't they pass all the international indexes? I wonder where the argument is premised on. What will not allow ourselves to be used for now for do what he not to be job.
Okay, let me hear it from Dr. Lai. Dr. Lai, don't hear it from Blake. The commission now ever say they're not going to investigate this. And they're coming out now because they think say not the right time. Do you feel relieved that what you've been asking for, the commission, they are there to that now? Then they set up a task force for looking to this and don't mandate institutions them, MDs them for do auditing as well.
Well, to start with, I commend my brother because, he's good at doing damage control. Not till yesterday or 2 weeks ago, I began to talk to the Anti-Corruption Commissioner. This nothing we don't span over a year. Go now, the man in response to me post on Facebook. The man confirmed that, yes, indeed, I contacted him over a year ago. We had discussions and the thing go to beta exchanges. The man be the maintain say there was nothing of interest to in commission, right? And if you not they say, una not get, maybe don't they insist say there was nothing to investigate about. I've been considering myself a whistleblower and I came running to him. Right? We started off this discussion at Renaissance Movement. We take it out of there and we continue for talk and I continue for give evidence. I continue for give the names. I even posted the names of the people they already were, as he said, they are working as civil servants. They already don't graduate. Some of them then get bachelors. I don't think that civil service will take someone a grade of administrative grade, it go take her without degree. And so this man they don't deny all along, said there was nothing to investigate. And I kept on piling pressure and giving more revelation and trying to show the connection between waiting the happen to waiting this one. And they say, okay, una not able to trigger whatever whatever clause una get. How una go know, or how the Anti-Corruption Commission go know if somebody don't confer advantage on himself or using this particular thing, if we not do the investigation. Here is a current case, for instance, of someone, Edward Alpha, who is the chief administrator on Akambia. 2017, in senior colleagues, we are suspended, that is chief administrators, accountants, and we are suspended for allegedly involving themselves inside, where they embezzle, European Union funds. Then promote her with colleagues them to acting capacity as acting, chief administrator. And if you go back, una go take the report, we title Report on the Verification Exercise of the core staff of local councils in Sierra Leone conducted between the 29th of January and the 17th of February 2020. There it was clearly stated that the only person that was retained after when they resolved the case and the other people then come back to them positions as the position where they get prior to suspension and the demotion of the one they be in acting capacity. Edward Alpha was the only one that was retained. Why? Because he go Dubai, he go get a honorary PhD, and that's wait una go and tell me that not conferred an advantage. I also been gear instances of someone where just get a bachelor's working in foreign ministry. Now 2 of them, then they overseas, now we embassies them. In fact, now then 3 safe right now where they overseas, now we embassies them. With bachelor's degree, how come the manager gets appointment into the civil service if not to the bachelor's degree they use for confer advantage on them? And this is what we are trying to see, with the ACC. The ACC should be a laboratory. Everything where whistleblowers, because this is our fight. It's not just the fight of the commissioner or those employed by the ACC. We all want to see a better country. Everything where they give una do a pilot test. If they give una leads on this, una go there, right? If I don't make it known over a year ago that people then they go buy degree, wait inside the civil service, then they go buy degree, forget for come inside.
Doc, is it not okay? Is it not okay that the commission don't agree for investigate this issue now? Don't you think this is not the right move where they don't take, they don't open up and accept, say, okay, then don't ask institution for investigate, themselves they investigate?
Not to the right move. As I tell Kelfala, I don't tell her over a year ago, in lackadaisical attitude, in layback attitude towards this particular issue of fake degree, they already don't make those with fake degrees where they're in the public sector. You don't give them already 2 years. ACC they be in 2 years. Then they are ahead of ACC, 2 years. And I will tell you, that was what I was talking on Facebook, that I was reliably informed. Let ACC immediately we don't begin to do their revelation here. Let them go cushion, the registry department and all with legitimate colleges then as alone. Because people then they go there now, they try for go get in for influence the people within them, their offices, then our universities and colleges them for doctor transcripts for them, for let them make the thing like okay, then we don't get down there all along and at this one. And the words of the commissioner actually be empower them, for do that. So the SEC is supposed to be a laboratory. We are giving information, or anybody giving information, una do a pilot test. If you not fit inside now, una not go dismiss them publicly, una dismiss them privately, and una turn on because the SEC turned on me, right? And including Kelfala, the SEC boss, the commissioner, in support of them. Then turn on me instead of me being protected because me a whistleblower. Now the SEC, informally on informal grounds, turn out for begin fet me, turn out for begin oppose me publicly, privately. So that day is very, very, it's very clear. Everybody we don't see them publicly, and the one way in a Renaissance movement go attest to that. That yes, indeed, the anti-corruption commissioner blow off and not tell me what they do.
Quickly, if the SEC ask you for help them with evidence in certain instances or against certain individuals, will you be willing to provide the evidence to them for continued investigation?
The SEC already, the SEC boss, I don't know if they delete in WhatsApp, they don't get some of the information that they over a year, right? I will provide them. I will provide me your information what I get, but the strategy where they use that, because maybe expect the Anti-Corruption Commission for go to Parliament, and tell them, say, okay, this issue don't come and then particularly don't they happen. Wait till we go able to see, because Parliament gets oversight responsibility also. Let us see if at all they go able to create something of some, or they go meet the presidency, they go able to create something we go at least empower them for let them go act in a way we not go put, because remember, the office is the way that they ask now so for investigate, say for example the human resource department or management office now, the civil service, but those are the same office we're responsible for the recruitment and retention of the one day we get fake degree. I expect them for let them really go about for investigate themselves. And what they try for is that the civil state SEC still trust the institution there in as much as they are guilty of doing it. And I think say this is the wrong method, and therefore it just go be a constraint, because by the end of the day, this SEC, all what the SEC do now for set fire people there within the ministries, them departments and agencies. Now set fire can follow set fire. This press release just set fire. They no more say okay, we do now verification for ourselves. We go to do how they call ourselves. We go sit down with champagne. They watch on our way, where the micro civil was. Then they brew within MDAs. So I was expecting an independent body. Say, for example, you include ASA, that is the Academic Staff Association of Sierra Leone. When I include, because this therefore do with labor. When I include labor, because I know say when I set up a task force just una normal. No. When I include labor, because this therefore do with employment relations. When I include labor union, when I include the Academic Staff Association, because these are experts, they understand within the psyche, they know exactly if this paper will be legitimate, then go know the roots there on the side outside and go pass. But okay. SEC just treat this one, in the way just the method is flawed. The approach they take a number for work. Seriously, not get for work. By the end of the day, now enemies then get for happy, enemy thing and get for brood, because we know Sierra Leone is polarized.
What is the seriousness? Where is the seriousness in all of this? Because like they say, these are institutions who employ them people there, where in fact you expect them to do background check before they employ them people there. For the SEC did it, right? The SEC,
we don't do background check. In fact, we don't do it on
exactly. But like he's saying, you're sending this back to institutions where, somebody go imply say don't already employ them people there with allegedly fake certificates, and when they send them back, say when I go investigate same people there. Why the same task force not go do the general work? SEC say, okay, we are coming in, investigating, and come out with a report.
You see, where me elder brother they talk, I don't really learn a lot today. See, no one is an arbiter of knowledge. A lot of gap there in the thing them way they talk. And
they say no plenty thing them. Is that what you're saying?
In the way SEC for do this work, especially this one year where in getting your way it prefer the SEC they do for doing work. And I want he's vast educated, social anthropologist. Some of us admire him a lot. Let it take time and follow up with the jurisprudence way we don't use for fight corruption at this country. For 22 years, speaking today, out of 2 years, not to 1 month, not to 6 months, not to even 18 years, 22 years. And some of them approach here where they recommend today, or where they insist, not to even recommendation, where they demand for the commission for take. They not only fall outside with mandate, they don't even be part of with jurisprudence. We will not get the locus for do them here. What are we banking on? For do some of them here way they say. For example, in don't talk and clearly say SEC for be a lab. We for do diagnosis. When you go to the lab, they ask you for specimen, you provide. You don't tell the lab technician for do test and prove malaria, who say malaria no dey. So I see a whole lot of deliberate attempt by some sector of the public for sure SEC the evidence, the suspect, the indictment, the count of indictment, the date of indictment, even the procedure for prosecute.
But there are people who, we don't get some of them documents there, we clearly don't show say the institutions that we don't get them from, now fake, not accredited institutions. Wouldn't you have say you will investigate to ascertain whether they use them at their advantage?
If even you meet Blake, they lay knife na person truth and quarter. He's not guilty of murder until a competent.
Yeah, we are not saying that is why you should investigate.
And fine. So even when you meet somebody, they caught person truth, you still get for subject to investigation. He used the word very just say these institutions are guilty. So as a professional, I don't know this in my 12th year this. I'm not going to use that kind of diction. No matter what in the magnitude of evidence we are available, they are all alleged. until a proper thorough investigation is done. And I can understand the emotion where patriots like Dr. Lahai, they attach to the way they want to fight corruption. But you see this law where they guide we all, it provides strict limitations on how you go manage yourself in carrying out their activity. Okay. Like there's this move where they say ACC not a right move. If we don't know what thing don't happen, how we even begin for apportion? And because somebody has said it, do not mean the police not go investigate. Do not mean ACC not investigate.
Fail for come out and tell people and say, okay, we are going to investigate.
As for the official statement, we come on ado. But if even you follow all what the director said, we have always said when we see what it, and except if somebody want to let them disband the ACC today and sack the close to 250 staff. Okay. But now we are the professionals for determine.
So now don't see waiting for make una investigate.
At this material movement, there are pointers, and those are the lists we are following. And some of those lists are coming from people like Dr. Lahai. We don't get any one problem with her. And ACC was turned against them and staff them. I don't know what thing happened between them personally. But I don't think any member of staff at the commission, like me not even friend with Dr. Lahai, I don't ever member we talk on directly on any social forum. I'm not saying I elder brother because we all hail from the same area. But I'm one of the spokesperson for the commission. I don't ever think I don't go at them. For goodness sake, I mean, people get their own, commissioner if you and get on an argument, whatever, that do not make it the position of the ACC. Okay. What he talk na that radio interview? Now the position of the ACC.
But the commissioner comments directly to na Facebook page. He
and like when they say 2-3 years ago, you don't begin profiling information. Yeah. I think one time he talk and say the commissioner tell and say now end of 2019 when they amend the act, sir. Now we get jurisdiction over academic malpractice. So the only corruption will be the investigate under academic institution and other abuse of office, abuse of position.
But that way they use them for your own advantage.
Now we get that jurisdiction in 2019.
The asset declaration, there's been this other arguments about how people they feel their asset declaration. So if somebody not been doctor and not been get that honorary degree, where they feel their asset declaration, it puts Dr. Lamran Abadi. Not to advantage you don't use.
Advantage
adding that title.
Advantage go be if you look at the interpretation part of the act, you go able to quantify an advantage either in financial, material, or emotional terms. So when we reach that bridge, we will able to watch if when they begin call you Dr. Lamaran Abba, what did you benefit from it?
Okay. And you can only do that if you investigate.
Honestly. Okay. It's not to social media. La end on this. It says institutes trusting these institutions. Sir, it doesn't mean because one public entity don't do a bad job, then that public entity not for exist. When we don't instruct them, so now I want the doctor take note of this.
Okay.
That's why we have the task force again for follow through. If you not instruct them, people here for do this work safe by press release. When you get down to the office, you need the HR internal auditor for help you get them credentials here. All through the 22 years old, the fight corruption, the jurisprudence, all the institutions here where they call some of them guilty. So now then would they write section 57 notices to demanding them for submit information to we.
Okay, well, try for
so you're not going to say because we they ask them for giving information, they are guilty, then we trust them. No,
we they try for round up.
They are mandated to provide the information.
We try for round up. We try for round up now. Dr. Lahai, how long will this continue? I see a lot of people and don't come out to challenge you. The press secretary in a State House come out and make some defense for Tuma Jabi when at the board chair na NRA, and the bank governors have come and challenge you on another issue about the effects of this on the people. Balua where the Petroleum Regulatory Agency has well come out and challenge you on this. So how long are you going to sustain this with these challenges coming at you, people are saying some of them are victims and you shouldn't be blaming them or even calling their names on this rather than going after the institutions?
Coming after me not actually mean anything. They just embolden me, right? And before I go answer that, I'll just respond to what my brother say. My brother, they talk about advantage, about the act, about abuse of power, abuse of office. I believe, say, where you date within the civil service, you know, grade A, for example, you enter with just bachelor, then a year later you come with a master's. The civil service, for instance, now a reward-based institution whereby your qualification they determine your pay scale. If you come with a fake master's, you turned around when you were employed at with a bachelor's, automatically you pay the change. It increased a little bit. So then they automatically don't confer another form of advantage. And, based on the way how I think this fight therefore continue and not get for stop, I get for continue for the raise this one until the right thing is done. And waiting I go want for tell the commission is that una stop for the read the ACC Act linearly in the sense that is has to be is if THE not to IS una no go consider them. That is linear reading of the law or of the act. But una always not forget say with the problem or the mischief where this act come for solve now for fight corruption. You get bribery, you get embezzlement, and you get abuse of office. Somebody don't go bribe for take exam question, then somebody don't sell that exam question. The ACC was proactive enough for parade den teachers in a country trip, right? Because that was bribery and that is corruption. You student go bribe lecturer give you question from WAEC. So if somebody go bribe, he go bribe Mohammed Yamba Bangura by degree 9 and why the ACC they play dilly-dally, they don't want to take up the matter.
Finally, Doc, with all this action, you still think say people for resign, like people at the NRA, the parliament and others, you think say them for resign?
Then people here, so their old position of trust, right? That fake degree syndicate, for example, the Inspector General of Police ought to have known. He don't deny the police more than 20 years. In a sober, civilized, and I will call them, or not use the word is civilized. In countries where institutions are working, not to Motaman, they work the institution. That man therefore don't tender in resignation, long term, right? The clerk of parliament automatically for don't tender in resignation, long term, including the leader of government business in parliament. Because the leader of government business in parliament, he gets a major responsibility, one for carry through president BOE agenda for quality education. But if this leader of government parliament where they champion that particular free quality education policy in a parliament, make sure say regulations and policies and acts and legislations are adopted for pushing that particular thing, they go by fake degree.
Thank you very much.
The man was supposed for the man supposed to resign. Let them all resign.
Thank you very much.
Including too much Jabi with the NRA because he used state fund for go take fake degree. Then nobody not supposed to tell him. He's supposed to resign because if you hold position of trust when a moral institution, because it's not just a policy based, it's also a moral thing because we didn't swear you in for certain position like that. You didn't swear on the Bible, you swear on this. If, for example, you go to court, you go swear on Bible, you go swear on the Quran, then you lie to the judge. Perjury. The judge can send you go jail.
But the State House Press Secretary don't say Madam Tuma Jabi not use the honorary doctorate degree for get the job for reappointment. He has clarified that on your page.
He clarified that on my page, but by the end of the day, state funds were involved. Right? And whether or not you use it or not, or the spokesman to president don't come out his statement say the reappointment and not submit no other thing. But look at the way how the thing happened. The woman he gets this paper also 2019, 2021, she was reappointed, and the time when you get that paper there, state funds was when they use that state fund for let the woman go get in paper, which was wrong. And come on, this was just when you use money when a taxpayer's money for your self-gratification, that is corruption. That is no need for tell the anti-corruption commissioner, right? So all the this back and forth, then people are supposed to resign. Because
thank you very much. Dr. Lai, thank you very mumuch. We time don't close on we producer then just say make sign so we say we time done and thanks very much Blake. But waiting at the assurance to the public that I will come out with another report for tell we waiting they happen because there's been a lot of back and forth. We should do this, we shouldn't do this, and people get trust in the ACC somehow, which is why they've been the thing say una for make a statement on this.
And Lama, we hold the trust in high esteem. We see them as a call for responsibility, and we assure the people of Sierra Leone we go measure up to that responsibility. They will not go disappoint them. You know, what is good to note, no matter how clear the evidence they, you know, they charge to court without proper investigation.
Okay.
So let's get this clear. So all that talk where doctor they talk, doctor is not a prosecutor.
Okay.
Doctor
so
is not the commissioner.
So let
doctor allow ACC doing job, how the law say, and when he say we for read the law, not read the act linearly, he's not a judge. That's why he's talking like that.
Okay.
When you can follow cases in a court, Lama, not to the law, then they interpret. I mean, these are strict.
We go follow up on this matter. We go continue with this discussion. But thank you very much, Blake, from the ACC for joining me, and thanks very much to Dr. Lai for joining me via Zoom. This is a discussion where they continue. As I said, one of the most sustained issue we don't happen in recent time. We don't pass 2 weeks. We don't beat the traditional way of how they discuss things, even with the mainstream media and social media. But thanks very much for joining me, and thanks to the production team for putting materials together and support the program. Thanks as well to our viewers them for our support to the program, and continue for watch we and our comments them as well. We appreciate them. Until they return next week, we'll meet back. I'm going to back. Continue for watch AYV. We are chairman of Renaissance, and Renaissance was considered to be an independent body that advocates for change. So I'm not asking you to ask about. You were Minister of Information where President Kuma announced austerity measures from State House.
Yes.
No matter doing free quality education, and I am against that. I will not accept. This is not President Bio's free quality education.
So the economy went bad from your own time. You're not Bioist or you're in a pauper.
I will find it difficult for interpret the connotations that they.
As the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, have you been approached to be compromised or corrupted in the matter you're investigating?
Don't they talk about the ills of the country for years, 5 years to election? I know them. President Bio at the time, Nabi Mumu.
You're watching AYV Television.
Oh my God.
Timo, what's wrong with the club?
I don't go to sleep, don't go there. You see that they sleep.
You read? And when? Not telling for me, neither Palabo, where they are placing. Yeah? Me not see me control Kikeno.
So who's walking now?
Nine, what's me? What tell me say anybody about Betty Salo?
Betty Salo? Timo, tell me what in a Betty Salo.
Nine, now that new came, that new company, who don't come. One day, I look to office here, the Betty Salo. Head of the new football, they do look to Betty Salo online.
How then they bet this?
Nine now they explain that the key so. What can all that team then they don't pick it? He put money, he posts it back on go. That's why they only the phone in the waiting up. They ready for the candidate.
So if he clap,
all clap no one na winning. In the see me now, of course.
no.
Never can spend a call by this phone. Now what's the credit if you see done at the corner of the office direct. Now the two office and the secretary
Me did I don't hear the holiday. 2009.
Now console you I care for double the money. So how do you look out? They say me believe me. So how now one of corner the office now. Timo, so how do you do? So how
if you give me love, I give you more. Oh my God. If you want me, girl, I want you. Oh my baby. What you do, I do to you. I like. My love now the cocoa. If I give it to you, girl, you go jogo.
That's all. Me also you. I hope you. At the cap.
It's bigger than the ocean. Baby, let me be your aquaman. And if you give me your lotion, I'm available.
We currently operate from 14 branches, strategically scattered around Sierra Leone. We have 7 branches in Freetown and another 7 branches in the provinces. Our objective as a bank is to take financial services to the remotest areas of Sierra Leone. We also have 24 ATMs scattered around the country. Presently, we are the highest capitalized bank in the country, and for so many years, the most profitable bank in the country. We currently play in the corporate, the commercial, and the retail segments of the industry through our rich human capital, robust technology platform, and also customer-centric products. We lay emphasis on products that promote financial inclusion. As a bank, we believe that we need to give back to the society where we actually operate. And in recent years, we have actually done a lot of projects, especially in the education sector, which aligns with the policy of the government on free education.
When every sip is this good, the world stops for you. Amstel, respect every sip.
The talk of the town is back. The Yagbadon Sidon.
Hey, darling.
Do you know who's gonna be in? Well, it's your responsibility to bring back all the fun, love, and drama in the house.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Put the
Where you left me.
That's good.
Send your favorite contestant into the house and watch the show 247. Vote now, only through AfriMoney. For voting, call *161 *10 hash. For international voting, call +232 9900 5500. The talk of the town is back. The Yagbadon Sidon.
Hey, darling.
Do you know who's gonna be in? Well, it's your responsibility to bring back all the fun, love, and drama in the house.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Put the
Where you left me.
That's good.
Send your favorite contestant into the house and watch the show 247. Vote now, only through AfriMoney. For voting, call *161 *10 hash. For international voting, call +232 9900 5500.
It's the one, it's the one, it's the one, it's the one, yeah. Sarah Rogers, yeah. It's the one. Super fresh, natural, nurturing, just in a shot, yeah. Sarah Rogers, yes.
Sierra Juice, the taste of Salon.
yeah. It's been a very crazy day. The joyous feeling in the air when rain falls on a sunny day. Happy, yeah. Let the stars, let the road be happy.
Enjoy life's little pleasures with Maltina. Maltina. Share happiness.
So, we went to New York and we showed them how we dance. But they never really got the moves until we gave them a start. And there, right before our eyes, they became Sierra Leone. Which goes to show, when you put star in, the true flavor of Sierra Leone comes out. And back home, we were heroes.
The #1 reality TV show in Sierra Leone, giving the young generation a platform to shine, to have fun, to expose their personalities.
I've learned to be patient and tolerant. I'm so bold because housemates change everything about me.
Live under the spotlight.
We don't choose, we don't care where you come from.
Stories in the house they'll never forget.
You already know, say, the job called for attention. Why did you choose me? I didn't choose
We
you.
lived with the housemates day by day, feeling what they felt.
But your story, Fatmata, is the reason, one of the reasons why I said I am going to the housemate, because I really want to meet you.
Laughing when they laughed, crying when they cried.
Down, I wasn't happy. Why will I treat somebody that is in my own blood? I came here to give you guys a better life.
The best content and entertainment reality show. Unforgettable moments in the house. Housemates Alone Season 3. Let the fun, laugh, and fame begin.
Welcome to Every Country in Africa, Part 5. If you haven't watched Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have a whole playlist here. Just click on the card here to watch them fast. The last country we covered in Part 4 was the Republic of Congo, where gold is one of the major exports. Gold is also a major export in what used to be Africa's largest country, Sudan. Officially, it's known as the Republic of the Sudan. Prior to the secession of South Sudan in 2011, Sudan was massive. It was the largest country in Africa, with an area that represented more than 8% of the African continent and almost 2% of the world's total land area. The name Sudan derives from an Arabic expression, Bilad al-Sudan, which means land of the blacks. Islam and the Arabic language is predominant in the north, while older African languages and cultures dominate the south. The capital, Khartoum, is located roughly in the center of the country, at the junction of the Blue Nile and White Nile rivers. Sudan has nearly as much arable land as the entire Arab world combined, which is why everyone is rushing to get as much property as possible, since the African state is best suited to emerge as the next breadbasket. Saudi Arabia recently signed a 99-year lease on 1 million acres of arable land. Pakistan, Jordan, Lebanon, United Arab Emirates and Syrian companies have all acquired large tracts of farmland here. Sprawled across the Sudanese desert, there are mystifying ruins of pyramids that date back to the kingdom of Kush, an empire that lasted for over 2,000 years before its disappearance around 300 AD. These pyramids mark the burials of Kushite royals, who are sometimes referred to as Black Pharaohs. While Egypt gets noticed for its pyramids, Sudan is known as the place with the world's largest collection of pyramids. The Kush kingdom lasted for many hundreds of years, and in the 8th century BC, it conquered Egypt, which it ruled for almost a century. Though it lost the title of Africa's largest nation, Sudan ranks third on the Africa largest countries leaderboard. Second on that list is the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC for short, has undergone a record 7 name changes: Congo Free State to Belgian Congo to Congo Leopoldville, and after its independence in 1960, the Republic of Congo, named after River Congo, then to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Then President Mobutu Sese Seko changed it to the Republic of Zaire, and finally back to the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is still in use today. The DRC is by area the largest country in sub-Saharan Africa, the second largest in all of Africa, and the 11th largest in the world. It is so massive that Nigeria's city of Lagos is closer to its capital Kinshasa than its northwestern town of Wele. Kinshasa is a huge city with a population of about 15 million. With a total population of around 92 million, the DRC is the most populous officially francophone country in the world, as well as the 4th most populous country in Africa. The Congo River is the Earth's 2nd largest river by volume, draining an area of 3.7 million square kilometers or 1.4 million square miles, known as the Congo Basin. Much of the basin is covered by rich tropical rainforests and swamps. Together, these ecosystems make up the bulk of Central Africa's rainforest, which at 178 million hectares in 9 countries is the world's 2nd largest rainforest after the Amazon. The nation is among the most resource-rich countries on the planet and is home to the world's largest reserves of cobalt and significant quantities of the world's diamonds, coltan, gold, and copper. The government has been pushing miners to agree to build refineries for value addition of the precious metals within the country's borders. The aggressive move is aimed to guarantee the Central African country with an estimated mineral wealth of about $24 trillion benefits fully from its minerals. That's about the same amount of GDP of the United States and Europe combined. An ancient art form called capoeira is increasingly becoming popular in Kinshasa, part dance, part martial arts. Capoeira originated over 450 years ago in Brazil, among African slaves taken there to work on plantations. Now it's been brought back to its origins in Africa and is one of the latest trends spreading fast through the country. The country's president is named Felix Tshisekedi, and only one foreign head of state attended his inauguration back in 2019, President Uhuru Kenyatta from Kenya. The Republic of Kenya is a country in Eastern Africa. The country's capital and largest city